It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
We are back, baby. We are so back. I watched that video a couple times this morning. I'm so pumped to be back in the studio. The Pete Sousa Show. We are live in Central Texas, high atop the Alico building. Scotty, can we shut the shades? I'm sorry. I mean, the diva is back in town, brother. What's up? The Rogue Media Network. It's not. There's darkness coming in. Scotty Swingler, just making it happen. So happy to be back with Scotty. He's even better looking than when I left him. And honestly, it's a little worrisome for me. Like every time I come back, Scotty has like a little more authority. Like he's kind of like in charge, which is, I don't know if it's concerning. It's kind of inspiring, but yeah, we got a lot going on here at the Rogue Media Network. We are presented by Slovacics. Got a chance to drive by Slovacics late last night. just gave the wink and the nod. But if you're driving by there during regular hours of the day or late at night, look, make sure you go ahead and pop in, say what's up to Ray and the team. What do you want me to say? This Baylor hat? It's pretty awesome. Let's go. Scotty's got. Did you get the Baylor hat, Sawachiks?
No, I pulled this hat off the shelf because we have a sponsor for the game day show, and my camera's mirrored, which I hate. And I told Faith I was going to wear it on the game day show.
By the way, that's pretty awesome.
I think that's pretty good. So I was just, I missed you, Pete. I haven't seen you until 2 minutes ago. So I was just trying to be goofy with you here.
And by the way,
we can have our moment on the air.
I will join you week 1, Friday night, before Auburn Baylor.
Green and gold game day.
It's
Subscribe on YouTube. 3 hours. Blake Blackmar, Shahan Jayaraja, Pete Sousa,
grilling it up.
Daryl Dapprich from Locked On Auburn.
Let's go.
And maybe 2 NFL players. We're trying really hard.
Well, definitely Matt Mosley and Faith Lynch.
Yeah, they're NFL players.
Yeah. Faith is like the next Darren Andrews, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we're going to get to the Pete Sousa show. Socorro Family Ford, of course, thank you. Extraco Bank and Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. Everybody's making this possible. We're going to have Matt Mosley on, and why wouldn't we? Because the Dallas Cowboys Netflix show dropped last night. And so I was coming back from long trip, maybe a whole nother podcast. I love my fiance. I'm not quite sure how interested she is in me right now, but I did the best I could. The character defects on my end were raging by the end of this 5-day trip to drop my beautiful soon-to-be stepdaughter off at Rochester Institute of Technology. Thanks to everybody here, by the way, Scotty, you in particular, for making the shows get up on the air on Monday and Tuesday. And Wednesdays in the fall, we will be doing noon because I just taped Inside the 12, which is the show all about the Big 12 conference and football specifically. I did it with Taylor McHarg, all-time Rice quarterback and all-time great guy. And the show is going to be on national television. It'll be on True TV tomorrow night at 7, and it'll be in all your Big 12 local markets and other markets all over the country. And it will be also on the Big 12 YouTube page. So check that out if you want to dive deep. But anyways, on the way home, Thursday nights it airs. I was on the way home last night, and after I had a meltdown at the airport because I'm a toddler, and I wasn't able to do everything I wanted to do at the rate that I always wanted to do it, which has basically been the life of a single Pete for very long. I had a little meltdown about the length of the trip, and I was a baby. So anyways, we made up because Christy called me on my stuff, and she was right. So we make up. That's the most important part. But the second most important part is I remember that The Gambler and His Cowboys had been released on Netflix. Now, this documentary means a lot to me, and here's why. As a young man, as a kid, growing up in the 80s and 90s, and honestly, I have to be everything on the table. I'm an alcoholic, I'm sober, but I probably started to drink alcohol alcoholically when I was probably 18, 19 years old, for real. So at that point in time, it was 1994, 95. Up until then, sports was the epicenter of my universe. And the Dallas Cowboys were the epicenter of the NFL, the biggest league known to man. And the story was unbelievable. I mean, here was this guy, right? Kind of like a bumpkin, right? A rube, he was referred to in this documentary, episode 1. And he comes in and he buys the Cowboys from Bum Bright. And all we knew was that he was an oil guy from Arkansas. He fires Tom Landry right away. He fires Tex Schramm. He fires the PA guy, the guy who does the national anthem, and he hires his best buddy, Jimmy Johnson, who, oh, by the way, was like the Darth Vader of college football with the Miami Hurricanes. So watching this last night, you're reminded of all this. And I watched the first episode twice, right? I watched the first 2 episodes. I watched the first episode twice because it was so good. The second time I watched it, I had it on as I was driving back to Waco last night from the DFW area. And I will say it wasn't as good the second time, probably because it was the second time. But also, too, it is such a visual experience, this show. The B-roll from the 1980s and 90s, from, let's say, an ESPN, a WFAA, right? CBS 11. It is amazing. I mean, there is a point in time, and this is national B-roll, where Jerry Jones had bought the team and fired Tom Landry. He is sitting at the 50-yard line in the Star at Texas Stadium, and he is on Nightline with Sam Donaldson. And Sam Donaldson is ripping him a new asshole for firing Tom Landry. Actually says to him, he says, something as to, why did you fire him? And Jerry Jones is like, well, I fired him because I bought the team and I felt we needed to go in a different direction. And Sam Donaldson goes, that doesn't sound like a good enough reason, Jones. I mean, there was like a real visceral reaction to him firing Tom Landry. And you can't forget how bad the Cowboys, they did such a good job of showing how bad the Cowboys sucked and how hard that was for both he and Jimmy Johnson. I'm not going to give it away and get into the whole thing. Matt Mosley is going to join us in probably about 10 minutes, Scotty. Sound good? 10? 15 minutes. Okay. So Matt will join me at 12:40. 12:30. Oh, that's 15 minutes. Okay, cool. All right. So, okay. Hold on. So much. Oh, really? She's watching? I love you, Christy. See that? I don't even know if she was watching. She's the boss. So I was watching it last night, and I was reminded, and this is important, like if we had a TikTok camera or a shorts camera, I would tell Scotty, turn that shit on because I'm about to drop some knowledge, okay? I watch documentaries, okay, because there has been a standard set by, let's say, The Last Dance, right? Let's say many of the very good 30 for 30 documentaries, even all the way back to HBO Sports and those amazing documentaries. This one takes the cake in a sense that you might as well have made these people up and wrote them in to a drama that we now would watch on, I don't know, Hulu, right? Or we watch on HBO. You couldn't script a more wild cast than Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman. By the way, there's so much stuff you learn and stuff you've forgotten that you're reminded of. I had no idea that Troy Aikman, legit, I knew he grew up in Oklahoma. I didn't know he grew up on a farm. I didn't know he grew up baling hay every morning for hours before he went to school. He said his dad was the hardest working guy and the toughest guy pound for pound that he'd ever met. And then you get characters like Charles Haley, who, like, to his own admission, like, there's some mental health stuff, serious mental health stuff. Deion Sanders, Barry Switzer. They're panning Barry Switzer as they start the movie, and Switzer just throws up the middle finger. Like, and the documentary has this feel of a Western, right? And it lets you know early on, and it's Jerry Jones sold the rights to this documentary to Netflix and to Skydance, right? So it's not like he had final edit of this thing. Now, so far, it has been somewhat favorable to him. And it's a reminder, too, of that whole situation, right? When he bought the Dallas Cowboys, and it all came almost from a gamble. I mean, he literally, his last like $800,000 he put into an oil well in West Texas. And as he mentioned, it began to gush and spit oil, right? And when that well turned over, he came away with $100 million, and it changed his life. Another thing I think you have to give Jerry Jones credit for, and I know this from my own family, from now having a second family with Christy, just how important family is to people, right? And Jimmy Johnson was an example of, I mean, the guy wanted to win so bad. I mean, and probably there was other stuff going on at home, but I mean, the quote is in the show, he left his wife. He was done with his kids. That's what the quote was. I think it was Nate Newton that said it, because he wanted to focus 100% on winning, right? which is like a real weird way to live. And I think Jimmy Johnson, as he's softened and has gotten older, would completely agree that was not, maybe that was necessary for the time, but that's not who he is today. Jerry Jones kind of had the answers to the test in a sense that I'm the owner of this team. It's a Dr. Jim Buss type thing with the Lakers. I know that this is going to consume 100% of my time. So guess what? My kids are going to be in it with me, like legit in it with me. And oh, by the way, Jerry Jones began a terrible trend, but he began it, right? Dale Hansen is on the record on this documentary talking about the fact that he was going to be general manager and president. No one had ever heard of that before, right? And it was really like an amazing situation where he told Tex Schramm at the press conference, like, I'm coming for your job. I mean, of course he was. He could fire him. A couple other things I wrote down about this first episode that is really, really exciting. Okay. I got a couple other things I wanted to hit on. The Troy Aikman, Steve Berline controversy. I remembered this, but I was reminded, there was a point in time where Troy Aikman had played a lot of really good football. And this is 1991. The Cowboys are finally trying to turn it around and are turning it around. Troy goes down with an injury, and Steve Berline comes in and takes the Cowboys to the playoffs. And he wins the wild card game at Chicago. They go to Detroit, to the Silverdome, and they get blasted. And Troy Aikman literally calls Lee Steinberg and is like, I want you to start looking for places where I can go. Like, I want out of here. And Jerry, right? And this is something he doesn't get enough credit for. And Jimmy does not dispute this. Of all the stuff he does dispute, and those guys go back and forth. Jerry said to Jimmy Johnson after that game, like, yo, dude, the bullshit's over with. Troy Aikman's our quarterback. Like, so you can tell Steve Berline to kick rocks. Like, no more Steve Walsh's, who, by the way, Steve Walsh will be on the Pete Sousa show on Friday, taking you down memory lane, talking Notre Dame and Miami. And I'll ask him about the Dallas Cowboys and his experience there. Because if you remember, after Jimmy Jones, and I'll talk one more thing about this documentary that blew me away. After Jimmy Johnson drafted Troy Aikman with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, he drafted Steve Berline with their first pick in the supplemental draft, which meant if you drafted in the supplemental draft, remember the Cowboys were horrible. If you drafted in the supplemental draft, you surrender your first round pick, which became a number 1 pick because the Cowboys sucked. So Jimmy Johnson brings Steve Walsh to town. By the way, nitpick, they didn't get into that in the documentary. Was a little bummed. And they didn't go anywhere near as deep as they could have with the desperate situation that had taken over Dallas, Texas after JFK was assassinated there, and how the Cowboys really led them out of that. They touched on it, but they didn't get into it too much. And by the way, Tom Landry, another guy from Central Casting, the steel jaw, right? God-fearing man. They talk about it, was a regular attendee at Highland Park Baptist Church, right? Like, nobody perfect to lead the Dallas Cowboys in the Bible Belt. As you can see, I was overwhelmed with this documentary, and I will say right now, Scotty, Prisoner Pete has arrived. It's the best documentary I have ever seen. And let me explain this to you, okay? I don't care if you, and I think most people do like it, but if it's not for you, you're missing it. Or you just didn't grow up as a complete sports nerd in the 80s and 90s. That's all I did was watch sports, read about sports, play sports, little video games, but not much, right? And this Cowboys thing was one of the most fascinating stories and real life situations I'd ever seen play out at the time as a kid. And to be able to witness it in documentary form, I just say thank you. Thank you to Jerry Jones for turning the rights over to Netflix. And so here we are. By the way, Jerry's done it again. Like, he's like, over here, look over here. Forget about the fact that we suck. And I'm telling you, it's working. People are like, Mosley's going to be on with us in 7 minutes, and he is going to tell us how much he loves this documentary. I can guarantee it. And I think Werder would say it. I know Clarence Hill has already tweeted about it. Guys like Dale Hansen have. I mean, it is amazing. So go ahead and watch it if you haven't already. Quickly before we get to Mosley, just a couple minutes on the Big 12. Talked to Brett Yormark this morning, the commissioner of the Big 12. Had the opportunity to ask him. This was in conjunction with Inside the 12. And I'll actually get those interviews, and we'll run them here on the Pete Sousa show too. So you can hear what the commissioner had to say about going over to Ireland. He was literally about to leave. There's nothing better than the commissioner of the conference that you work for being on a Zoom call, right, in a hotel in New York City, getting ready to leave for Dublin, Ireland, and the producer is in your ear telling the commissioner how to fix his camera. No, you got to move it down a little bit. No, go up, right, left. I'm like thinking to myself, like, dude. And every time I'm trying to like couch it, I'm like, Commissioner, I am nobody to tell you what to do. And he's so gracious and so cool about it. But when you have Brett Yormark getting up and moving around a hotel room, like, how about this? How about that? At some point, I'm thinking like, yo, let's just get this guy and let him do the interview and go on with his life, right? I don't want him thinking of my voice as the PTSD that carries with him some asshole who kept moving him around a hotel room. But the conversation was amazing. And the one thing I will tell you that the commissioner said that really hit hard to me at least, he spoke like a coach. The last question we asked him, and again, I'll put the video up on the Pete Sousa show site in a little bit, maybe a couple of days, probably when we need a good interview. But I asked him, hey, how's the Big 12 going to get more teams in the college football playoff? Flat out, he said, win more games. There are non-conference opportunities that are staring this conference in the face, aside from the game that he's going to see, right? Kansas State and Iowa State. Auburn Baylor, baby. The Green and Gold show presented by the Rogue Media Network, right? That will be the precursor to an opportunity for Baylor and for all of the Big 12 to hit the bully right in the mouth, right? And a week after that, Kansas will have a shot against Missouri. There are going to be opportunities. TCU will have a chance to beat up on my buddy Bill Belichick. Josh Hoover, right, the gunslinger who broke records last year at TCU, going up against one of the brightest minds in the history of football, especially on the defensive side, talking about Bill Belichick. And the reason I bring that up is, regardless of what you make of North Carolina right now, Scotty and I have got a great bet. What's the over-under on that? 6 games? 6 games. I say they're going to win 6 games. But I will be rooting for TCU in their first game. Scotty says no. It will be settled at Diamondbacks regardless after the year. But the value of winning those games early in the season, because I think North Carolina, I kind of almost agree with Scotty. They're not going to be great, right? They're not going to be great. But now is a prime time to beat them, right? And elevate yourself and the conference to a place where the college football playoff does not seem like a reach for 2, maybe 3 teams. Okay. The Pete Sousa show is going to take a break. We got Matt Mosley on deck, the newest member of the Rogue Media Network. I can't believe I'm saying that because Matt Mosley is a legend in the DFW, a legend around the country, and nobody better to talk to about this Dallas Cowboys documentary. He also has a show coming up right after mine today, 1 to 3 every day on the Rogue Media Network. He talked to Scott Drew yesterday. You can watch the interview. It is up online now. We're going to take a break and come back and talk with Matt Mosley.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kitbag.
Well, Matt Mosley is the right guy for the job, pretty much any job. But there's no job like the one I have for him today where he is any better suited than to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and this documentary that I have watched that is absolutely – I was spellbound last night. Is Mose with us? Mose, you there? He's so elusive, isn't he? He really is. He's slippery, this Matt Mosley. I can fill, and we can wait till the Mose comes up if he's, yeah. One of the things I really enjoyed about this, and I think one of the things that I think has caught up to Jerry Jones, and you'll never catch up to him financially and wealth-wise, and honestly, even family love-wise. I think it's amazing how his whole family is around him, but he's got this obsession, and this actually relates to current day. He mentions in the doc that every time he experienced wild success in his life, he was always going against popular opinion, always going against what the general public thought was the next prudent step. Look no further than wagering his last 800 grand on an oil well, right? And he's very forthright throughout the entire show, especially the beginning, that he was very good at borrowing money and building debt. And he was absolutely screwed until this situation came with the oil well, the one that boomed. And to give a little bit more background on how deep this got, and I was a little I was a little bummed. They probably could have gone into it more. His wife sent her father, so his father-in-law, to talk to Jerry Jones because his wife, Jerry's wife, was worried that Jerry was going to hurt himself. Now, this was prior to obviously scoring this huge oil situation, right? And that you can't change somebody's like, it's like a leopard doesn't change its spots, right? When you have Jerry and you have him understanding and achieving such wild success based on a complete gamble, right? I don't care if it was in 1984, right? The fact of the matter is that's what he knows about success. So this Micah Parsons situation, just like Dak Prescott and just like CeeDee Lamb, it's like business as usual for this guy. He really is unflappable in that regard. And it really, for me, doing what we do, right? And the same thing you guys do at the barbershop or when you hop in the chat, right? Like, it is kind of ridiculous that we think like our bitching and moaning is going to change what Jerry Jones is going to do. And one guy who knows far too well about all that is Matt Mosley, who joins us now on the Slovakics hotline. Matt Mosley, what's happening?
Oh man, I'm just doing my thing.
Because Mosley's kind of like a big brother. I worry he's going to start getting pissed at me. Matt, you there? There he is. All right. Mosley.
Oh my gosh. I can like see you and hear you on my other mic. I mean, this is exciting stuff. And here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to turn that. Okay. I'm going to walk outside my office here because this is really, I'm hearing all kinds of feedback and everything. Okay. Great to be with you. Great to be with you. But
great to be with you too. A real exciting time for folks here at the Rogue Media Network. Obviously, officially you're a member of the roster and all of a sudden the most decorated member, which is wonderful for us here. And your coverage of the Cowboys and Baylor will still continue. And we're going to get, front row seat of it here at the Rogue Media Network, which is awesome. But I want to know, first of all, have you watched America's team, the Gambler and his Cowboys?
By the way, be very careful saying anything about like most decorated. I mean, you could have people come running in there to the studio at any minute. Yeah.
I think the only one that could come in is Ed Werder. And then you guys could have a duel.
That's right. Werder may come in there at any minute. This is exciting. I have been watching America's team, the Gamblers, Jerry Jones, and it's bringing back a lot of memories. And I've covered this team a long time, but I'm not old enough to. I was still in high school when the sell happened and all that, but it's bringing back a lot of memories. And the first thing that comes to mind is, and I'm going to be talking about it on the new show today. I think you're joining me.
I am.
Boy, Scotty, it's great to have Scotty. I mean, Scotty's out there. Isn't he a valuable piece to this whole organization? The way he cuts up all this stuff. I mean, I've had Scott Drew on a million times, and for some reason yesterday, I mean, that has gotten more feedback than anything because Scotty's somehow able to send this thing out all over the place. So anyway,
Scotty is not only is he wildly talented, but he's also like a glue guy. So you love having Scotty around.
Yeah. I'd like to see the glue work. Won't you send him right now to Dallas, Texas? Because I'm having some issues here. I'm having some typical Mosley issues. But anyway, all of this is interesting. And one of the things I'm going to be talking about, and I think you would find interesting, is just the. There's things that about the Eagles and you feel because you grew up in that world and you grew up going to all those games and watching all those games. Like the Cowboys are the same thing for me. I would just say I had to tap back in. This documentary is helping me tap back into like the hatred level fans had for Jerry when he fired Tom Landry, even though the team was horrible. The team was horrible in 1988.
The year before. Yeah, that was. I was reminded of that.
Yeah, and think about like those coaches, other than Vermeil, but even after Vermeil and Marion, whoever, and some of the coaches that the Eagles had, that everybody's like, golly, get these people out of here. And there was some quarterback named like, I don't know, y'all just had some crazy stuff happen along the way, and just very random. I mean, was there like a Rich Kotite? Where was he a coach at one point?
Kotite. Yeah, he came after Buddy Ryan. Kotite was really bad, and then there was Ray Rhodes. I can't wait for the Buddy. They got to cover Buddy Bowl, right? They got to do some Jimmy Buddy Bowl. They talked about it a little bit, and they talked about how Jimmy really measured the team's success, right, against Philadelphia as their evolution, right? His teams came along because you remember the Eagles used to kind of beat them like they stole something for him for a while. I want to ask you, because you brought up a great point. Somebody like you has forgotten more than most people know about the Cowboys. What did you either were your brain was kind of, like that was a memory was broken free again, and you were able to be like, I forgot about that, or what did you learn? Someone like you, because I learned some stuff that I had no idea about, and I know a lot about this team or this situation.
Okay, so truthfully, and maybe I should have, because of what we do, I should have watched the whole thing. But I've been focused on dropping my daughter off at college.
Yes.
So I am starting this piece by piece. And last night I watched the first episode. So I don't want to sit here and act like I've seen every episode. I do feel like I've already seen every episode, because like the fourth episode I know deals with I think that's going to be fun for me to watch, because Ed Werder, who I do the Doomsday podcast, which is part of Rogue Media Network, that's a wild story, and that's a scene. And I think here's the way I would answer that. This is not new, but what this is bringing back memories of and making me think about and making me a little bit sad is like, think about like the 49ers were great in the 80s, right? And even into the 90s. But they didn't have like, I don't know what happened at the end with Bill Walsh and then Seifert takes over, but there was not some kind of enormous falling out. It's crazy to alienate everybody, make everybody hate you, and then get lightning in a bottle and become great almost overnight. And so by 91, you're getting really good. By 92, you're great. By 95, you're a freaking dynasty. And Jerry gets it in his head that he can do it without Jimmy. And so they did win that one Super Bowl without Jimmy, but I can't help but spend all this time looking at this thing and thinking about like, how many would they have won? Would it have been closer to like what the Patriots did? Probably not that much.
Yeah.
Would it have been, like, could they have won 4? Yes, easily. Could they have won 5? Yeah, absolutely. They could have, because Jimmy had, that's what Aikman hated so much about Switzer, is that he just didn't enforce anything. And he kind of tried to run it almost like he did at Oklahoma. And the kids loved him at Oklahoma, but you needed more discipline than they had. And so Aikman had to become the disciplinarian, and that screwed up relationships. So I think all those things, and sort of being reminded, and when I say reminded, I get excited about different things than I think most of the viewers do. I like seeing there's Del Hansen, there's Jerry Orr, there's Chris will make it, there's Gloria in her early days at Channel 8. Like, I know all these media people, and so to see it, it makes me feel like a little kid again.
Matt,
because there's Hansen when he was really young.
How about Bill O'Reilly turns up, right, working for, I think it was FAA. But my favorite part, Matt, and I think you and I are sort of like kindred spirits, the B-roll is absolutely amazing from the local news affiliates and even from, network news. Did you see the part Sam Donaldson is taking Jerry Jones to task on Nightline? My mind was blown. He calls him by his last name,
Jones.
I was like, why has this not been a bigger deal in my life? That blew my mind. But it is a window into how everybody thought this dude from Arkansas who bought the Cowboys from Bum Bright was out of his mind. And I think if anything, Matt, and I'm curious to get your take on this, it's almost as though they sit us all down and they're saying, hey, we want to explain to you guys why this guy, Jerry Jones, is the way he is today. Because if you watch it, it sort of makes sense that he's outrageous and kind of nutty in his negotiations and just how he handles business day to day with the team.
Yeah, I even that one part where I'd forgotten that our first news conference that apparently he looked over at Tex Schramm and said, well, I want his job. And there's those shots of poor Tex Schramm. I mean, that's the thing, you know, the GMs and everybody you remember growing up in Philly, like, you know, he was a god at Tex Schramm and the players would get into it with him. But it's like, we're so far removed from those years. It's hard to imagine like a coach, a GM, an owner. I mean, okay, what's weird is, you know, Murkison was the great, silent, quiet oilman owner. Well, Bum Bright comes in, he's an Aggie, and then all his banks are failing and all that. That's another interesting part to me that I'll talk about today too, Pete, that is just the first of all, Jerry could have been an actor or something, right? Yes. We saw him on Landman. He was really good in that. And like in this, he's just still such an incredible storyteller. And his face, which he's had, you know, work done over the years. But I think that came out several years ago when they were at a camp in Austin. But it is kind of like it's like an old country music singer or something. Yeah. There's like all this character, and they do all those close-ups. And I got to say, I mean, that's the Hollywood part of this that I kind of enjoyed, was them kind of doing the whole Western thing. And then Jerry kind of looks up from his desk and sees everybody. And what it reminds me of, when you talk about, you know, Jerry being a great character, it kind of like, it makes me think about the fact that for years, every owner in the NFL looked like Art Modell or Wellington Mara, or just all these old white dudes who were like, wait, were you ever young? Were you ever like, what? Right? Yeah, they're just like, I mean, every one of them kind of looked the same and all. And so with Jerry, like, it makes sense to me that Jerry's first owner that he really looked up to and that kind of took him under his wing was Al Davis, because they're kind of the same person, right? They're mavericks. They want to do their own thing. They want to go against the grain. They want to be innovators. They both end up kind of being looked at as crazy in a lot of ways. They're irrational. They're willing to sue anybody at any time, but they're kind of the same person. So, I mean, it's what we didn't know at the time, while everybody hated him for firing Tom Landry, that we were going to get probably the most colorful owner in all of professional sports. And then he was going to have this reign of 35, 36 years. And it'll just keep going on, because I guarantee he does this into his 90s. The whole thing. So anyway, there'll be things along the way, and I'll let you know when I see them that I'm like, oh God, I forgot about that. Or I don't know if I ever heard that, but all that White House and stuff with Irvin and all that. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's kind of like you and the Eagles and Brown and, you know, those unbelievable linemen and the stories you would hear over the years. Well, some of that stuff would be somewhat new to me. Yeah. Like, it's almost impossible to find something with that era of Cowboys that I haven't heard. It's a reminder, though, Matt. That doesn't mean I can't see it through a kind of a different lens now. Yeah.
Well, one more thing, and then I'll let you go because you got to get ready for your show. But I thought just two statements, and then I'll get your reaction. One, you mentioned it. People that watch this, holy crap, can Jerry Jones just tell a story? Like you're on the edge of your seat, and you've been witness to that. I never have. And his storytelling skills are on full display in this. Another thing, too, that we learned in episode 1, or not learned, reminded of, Michael Irvin was so charismatic. Like, there are not, I don't know that there are players like that today. Maybe there are, but just when they show him get drafted and he's coming to Dallas, he's pumping his fists. Like, is that athlete gone? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he really just seemed like a different breed.
Yeah. I'm sure we could think of receivers who kind of carry themselves like that still to a certain extent, but he he did have kind of, and maybe it came from being in a family of 17 and going through some stuff early in life. It did feel like sort of Dion and Michael came out of college like fully formed with an awareness of who they were and like what their brands meant and like what their personalities, how it could almost single-handedly like bend a team into formation. I mean, you're right though. There's a level of sort of cockiness and awareness and fun and crazy that probably has been coached out of these kids. It's funny that Jimmy, who was the ultimate disciplinarian, was looked at as a guy who basically had lost control of these players at Miami. But again, what they were, they might have celebrated and made everybody mad and been called convicts and all that stuff. But what they were was an incredible group of athletes. And when they performed together, which they almost always did, I mean, they were the greatest team in the country.
Yeah.
But it was a time when we all were like scared of weird, like, oh my gosh, he just spiked the football or he just danced over a guy. And that stuff scared people. It was like, this is not how we remember it. This is not what our grandparents grew up with. And it's the same thing. I mean, Jerry's personality draws people like that in. So it shouldn't be shocking that, and again, Michael was drafted before Jerry showed up. That was under the Landry era. But it shouldn't be shocking that Jerry wanted to bring in Haley. He wanted to bring in Dion.
Yeah.
And then even some of these stories about Haley are freaky.
I read those
what he did to get out of.
Yeah, and you've told me some of them. Oh, my gosh. All right, but look, it's 12:50. You got to roll. And I'll be talking to you on the Matt Mosley Show between 1 and 3 o'clock. I'll be talking to you today. Matt, thank you so much for visiting with me and making the time.
Thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you, bud.
All right, bye.
All right, that's the great Matt Mosley. And yeah, you can bet that I will go back to him for some more on this. But right now, I'm going to exit stage left. Tomorrow morning, we're back live again, regular time, 10 a.m. Central. Thank you for watching, Slovakics. Thank you for making it happen. And the Pete Sousa Show, live tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time. Take care.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extra has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extra.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.